Hi guys, in this series of web scraping in Python, we're going to understand the concept of web scraping using Selenium in Chrome. So now, without any further ado, let's get started. To start with, we're going to scrape this website. This is the NASA website. So if you are a big fan of NASA, same goes with me. I like watching some articles about NASA. But for the section that we're going to scrape is the galleries under image of the day. For this demo, where our target is to extract all the image from this section using Chrome and with the, of course, with a package called Selenium. So let's begin. To start with, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this one web scraping Chrome. Okay, so for this demo, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. So like I said, you can also apply this method using Anaconda, Spider, and PyCharm. So either way, the code and everything in this procedure are still the same. Okay, so now that we have a new project here, the first thing we need to do is we need to create a new file. And I'm going to name this one as web scraping.py. For the package. But before that, before going to start with our coding, we need first to set up our virtual environment. To do that, we need to go to this section here and open our new terminal. Now, to set up the environment is we need to type Python -m venv and the name of your virtual environment. For my example, I'll be using .venv. For most of you guys, this is the first series. I want you to check that videos as well, the one that I use with Chrome. Similar to this one, but this time we're going to use the Chrome driver. Okay, so now that our virtual environment is ready, so we need to activate that. To do that, we need to copy this spot here and paste it in this section. Then hit enter. There you go. So let's create this one. Okay, now that we set up our virtual environment, the first thing we need to do is we need to call our package. So to do that, we need to type from Selenium import WebDriver. Of course, at this point we don't still have our Selenium. So to do that, we need to install our Selenium. So to do that, we need to type pip install Selenium. Okay, good. So I need to clear this one again. Okay, now that we have our Selenium, the next thing we need to do is we need to set up our option. But before that, we need to call that in this Selenium uh, uh, properties. And that properties is selenium.webdriver.chrome.options. Import options. Okay. Okay, good. Now, after we say we called our options, we need to apply this in our Selenium. So to do that, you need to type options equals to WebDriver dot Chrome options. Okay. Now, why we need to set up like this one? In Chrome, there's issues about disabled GPU. So to prevent that, we need to set up our option to bypass that issues. Again, this time here, we need to include also the arguments to bypass that issues in Chrome. We need to apply this argument, and this argument is the first is the headless. Then the next one is options that add arguments, and we need to disable the GPU. So to do that, we need to type disable dash GPU. Okay. So, and the last one, we need to apply another options. And that options, first, we need to include that in our argument is log dash level equals to 3. Okay. So once you set up the options, now is the time that we need to call our driver. So to do that, we need to type the driver as a variable and the web driver that we assigned from Selenium. So from here, we're going to call this web driver Chrome. Then, okay, from this point here, I'm going to pause for a while because we'll be needing the driver for this exercise. So to do that, we need to download our driver. Okay. To download our Chrome driver, you need to access okay. To access that driver, you need to go to this website by typing www.https or https.www.chromedriver.chromium.org, or simply type chromedriver.chromium.org. Okay. So these are the list of driver that you'll be using on your project. But before you're going to download this project, you need to make sure that you'll be using the correct version of the driver in using Selenium. So to do that, using Chrome, you need to check the version. So you need to open a new tab. To check the version, you need to go from the section here, then select Settings. From the settings, okay, we need to maximize this one. Oh, seems not good. There. Okay. from the settings, you need to look for this About Chrome. Once found, you need to click this About Chrome. Then, it will display the version of your Chrome. Now, focus on this one. As of this recording, or the time of this recording, is that my Chrome version is 91.0.442.114. Now, you must take note that this version, because if you fail to download the correct version, Selenium won't work. Okay, so now that we know our version, the next thing we need to do is we need to go to the download section and look for the driver that we'll be using. Now, as of here, the latest table is Chrome 91.0.4472.101. So take note, it doesn't matter if there are another extension here, but focus on the 3 value here, the 91.0.4472. This one is the main version that we're going to look at. This one is just you can say the revision. So this one here is the revision. So primarily you need to download the version which is exactly the first 3 dot here. So that's the version that you need to find. So if you are on your browser, whether you're in Linux, Macs, as long as you're using Chrome, just take note of the version. Then from this download section, once you find the correct match of that one, it doesn't matter. Like this one, I found my version, but the extension here is .101. So it doesn't matter as long the first values here are the same. So if that's if that's the version that you're using, then you can simply hit the download. Depending on your internet, so sometimes it will take a little longer. Okay, so now now that you identify the version that you're going to use, well, it depends on what OS that you're using. Make sure you download the correct version of your Windows or OS. So from here, the only available driver is Chrome driver Win32. For some reason, I don't know why there's no 64, but since this is working, so I'm going to download this package here. So also there's availability for Linux and Mac. Okay, a while ago I already downloaded this version, so I don't need to download this anymore. I need to close this one and this one. So this is the version that I downloaded earlier. So now what I'm going to do is I need to extract this one. And make sure you're going to paste that within the program. There are other ways to do this. Some of them, they put this in somewhere other location, then set up in the executable path, which is the environmental setup in the local path. But usually in my part, or in my case, I always use this within the program. So for me to save this driver, I need to create a folder here named driver, and I'm going to paste or extract that inside this folder. Okay, so once extract, okay. Now that we already placed the driver in the certain location that we want, we need to call that within our code. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is we need to set up that location path in here. So to do that, you need to type executable path, and we need to assign the R and the path of the driver. So in my case, it's on the driver. So I need to type /driver, the folder name, and the name of the driver, which is the Chrome driver. So I need to type here Chrome driver.exe. Since we already included our options, we need to apply that as well. So to do that, we need to type options equals to options. So please take note, this is the new setup in setup the Chrome. There's an old procedure, there's an old setup, but you can change that. You can use this option now because this is the recommended setup for Selenium in Chrome. Okay. Now that we set up our driver, the next thing we need to do is we need to browse that website. So to do that, we need to call the driver.get and the link of the website. Now, let's go back to our website. Close this one. Okay. For this section, like I said a while ago, the only my target is to get or extract the image from this site here, from the nasa.gov under galleries and image of the day. Now, the objective of this tutorial is we need to extract all these photos presented in this NASA image of the day. Okay, so to do that, we need to copy the website or the link. Make sure that whenever you apply in Selenium, make sure that this link is the front page of the certain area that you're going to scrape. Okay, so now that we already copied that, we need to paste that in here. Okay, good. Okay, now that we set up our path or the URL, the next thing we need to do is we need to identify which area or what particular fields that we're looking at. So if you watch my first video, for me to identify this one is simply by looking on the inspect. So this is the keywords of everything that you're going to do. So make sure you right click that area or certain tags, then click inspect. Okay. Okay. So from this section of this image, as you can see, this was enclosed with the image tag and with the, of course, with the parent of div class, which is the name of the class is image. So just to make sure, we need to check all the image within the page. So let's say that's the first one and this is the second one. I'm going to inspect that as well. Okay, good. So this one also belongs to parent class image, and within that image div class, there's an image tag. So that's the name of this file. And last one, we need to check this as well. Same goes. So which means this image within this gallery, they belong to as one group, which is the div class image within, of course, with the child of image source or the image tag. So the good thing is we know our target. So once you know your target, it's easy to scrape because you only need to know the div class, which is the image, and within that class we need to export the image source. Okay, let's try. So to do that, okay, let's say need to move this a little closer. Okay, so to do that, we need to type images. That's the name of my variable, and I'm going to call the driver. And from my driver, I'm going to find that element. So for this section, I'm going to use the elements by XPath. Okay, so now that we identify our XPath, so we need to type that in here. So to do that, we need to call //div, and within that div, we need to enclose that. This time, since we already know the name of the class, which is image, so we need to call the class. To type @class and the name of the class, which is image. Okay, just to make sure, we need to check back again. Okay, so see, so this is the div class that I'm going to check within that page. So div class image. Okay, so since this is the div class, the next thing we need to do is we need to get the child. So from this point here, our child is within this class is this image tag. So we include this one. To do that, we need to type here /image, so the img. So this is straightforward because the only thing that we need to check is the name of the class, which is a parent, which is the image, and the image tag within that image. Okay, that's good. So the next thing we need to do now is to going to do a loop so that going to fetch all the image related to that div class. So to do that, we need to type for image in images. Okay, now this is the things that we need to know first. The first thing I need to know is I need to get the image attribute. So for the test, we need to check if this one captures the image. To do that, I need to type the image, which is the assigned variable, and the attribute of that image is the source. Okay. So once identified that this is the target that we're looking at, then we can apply the driver.close. Okay. Okay, let's check again. From this point here, we assign a variable with these images to find a div class named image. Within that image, there's a child called image tag. Now, from here, we apply the for loop to capture all those images and print the source directory or the source path. So let's try. So from here, going to run py.webscraping.py. For those who missed the first part, I advise to check the first video of this series, because I explained everything there as to what's the purpose of this code. Oh, I think I have an error here. It should be elements. Sorry about that. So we need to check one by one our code. Okay, this should be fine. Elements by expat. So yeah. So I need to cancel this one because I found that there's a problem with the properties. So just to make sure that we have the correct spelling. Okay, so I think this is okay now. So let's continue. I'm going to type pi web scraping enter. Like I said, for better understanding of using Pine elements, watch the first video because that one explains the basic concept of using selenium. But that first version is the binding using the parpacks. I use the parpacks and the driver itself. Oh, okay. So, okay, so at this point here, it says that it's not detectable and cannot find the class. So which means web element object has no attribute source. So let's check our oh yeah, because I use attribute, it should be get attribute. Okay, so that's the right word. Okay, hopefully this will be the correct one. So, okay, so if this is okay, then let's run again. Usually, when you apply a properties, it's always start with get and the name of the property. So a while ago, I noticed that I forgot to put the get. So it should work by now. Okay, good. Okay, good. As you can see, it captures the correct image source of those in the NASA gallery. So I think this is working now. Now, we won't stop by here because our target is I want to extract those image and save that in our local directory. Now to do that, the first thing I need to do is I need to create a directory location. As you can see, we already managed to extract the link. So now what I'm going to do is I need to harvest or extract this image. So from here, I need to create a new folder and I'm going to call this as images. Okay. Now for this section, the first thing I want to do is I need to apply the path lib. Okay. Okay. From this point here is before I'm going to insert this picture or save or download, I need to ensure first that the link that I'm capturing is a truly image. So to do that, I need to import this library called import pathlib. Okay, what it does is this one will check the whole path. But my target here is to identify if this is an image or not. So now that I already set up or import my package, the pathlib, so the next thing I need to do is to extract the extension. So by default, you know the common patterns with the image. It should be the .jpeg, .bmp, .jpg, .gif, and so forth. So from here, I need to ensure that the image that I'm capturing is truly an image. To do that, I need to type the suffix and the path lib and the path. Okay. Now that I mentioned this one, now the next thing we need to do is to capture the sources from the link. So this is the source. We need to paste it in here. Okay. Then from here, I'm going to get the suffix. Okay. So what it does is it will get the extension of this link. So now that I already identify or set up the suffix, the next thing I need to do is to make a comparison. So first I need to know if the suffix is not none and suffix let's say not empty. That's the core purpose of this code. So from here I need to check if suffix is not none or if or the suffix is not strict, which is not empty. So purely I'm going to capture the actual path. Now in addition, it's now that we already identify or extract the extension, if this is confirmed, the next thing we need to do is to extract or download that image. So to do that, I'm going to call import, and I'm going to call the URL lib.request. Okay. So this is the next package that we need to capture. Okay, so I need to clear that from here. Then from here I need to install that package, or pip install URL lib. Okay, so I think there's no need to install for this one. So at least we're okay. Okay, so from this section here, now that we already called the URL lib or the URL library, so we need to apply that properties in here. So again, we need to call the URL lib. This time we need to use the properties of request and the URL retrieve. Okay. Now what it does is this will capture the actual source of that image. So now I need to copy this link here. Okay. Now that I already captured the image, the next thing I need to do is I need to create a series, because sometimes image there are possibility that it will override. But to do that, we need to apply some dynamic string that will keep that image in a certain order. So usually what I do is I need to assign that using this method. Let's say I'm going to call this F, and the name of the location that I'm going to save, which is the images. So /images. From here, I'm going to assign a new file name. So let's say I'm going to call this a search. Then of course, from this search, we need to call the extension. So since this is a new file name, I'm going to copy this extension and apply that in here. Okay. Okay. So again, using URL lib request, we're going to download that image And to avoid that, we need to keep keep the order so that it will not override. I'm going to save that in this manner. So the file name is search, and with the extension, the suffix, it should, let's say if it is a .jpeg or .svg, so this will applies to here. But another thing is, the issue is this will override itself because I'm using search as the file name. So to prevent that, I'm going to create a counter so that this will create a numeric order. So let's say search with a number of, let's say search 1 .jpg or search 2 .1. So to do that, what I need to do is I'm going to apply a counter. So let's say for that counter, I'm going to name this as count. Then I'm going to increment by 1. Okay. Of course, we need to declare this count. From here, I'm going to assign this as counter 0 or count 0. Okay. Then from here, I'm going to apply the increment. So let's say notify count increment by 1. Okay. So let's make sure that this is correct. Okay. So again, we're going to apply the urlib with the request and urlib retrieve, which is going to, this one will do the download. And from here, we're going to apply the file name in a sequence. So it should be search and counter and with the extension. So let's try. So let's try it from here. Okay, so let's hit enter. Sometimes it will take a little while because what it does is it will try to first need to load the page, which is let's check here. Okay, the first thing it does it will do is it will load the page, and from within that page, once load, this will check all the tags within that source. So that's the process. Sometimes it will take a little while. So all we need to do is we need to wait a little. Depending how many photos are there. So if it's only few, this won't take long. But if it is more than 5 or 10, for sure this will take a little longer. Okay, so while waiting for this one, again, if you want to know or better understanding on how these things works, check the first video because I explained there how to capture basic fine elements in Selenium. Okay, good. Okay, so as you can see, Now it's starting to download. As you can see from this image folder, it's starting to capture those image from the tags that we're looking at. Like I said, it depends on how big is or how many photos were there. As long you identify the correct path for that certain sections, everything will be work smoothly. So let's finish this until the last photo. Okay, notice that some photos are in JPG and some photos were in JPEG. That is why I apply the suffix to set up as dynamically in here, so that it will be load as to what type of image was being stored on that link. Okay, so I think we're already done. So let's check. I'm going to view that or reveal in File Explorer. There you go. Okay, I'm going to open one of the photos. Okay, good. Cool. Okay, so that's it. So that's it, guys. Now, if you want to enhance this code, you can also experiment some ways on how to harvest these things. Also, you can also save that in Excel. Of course, it depends on you. But for this one, this is the very basic foundation on how to download and extract those photos from the link. So, again, okay, good. So, again, if you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And see you guys in the next video series. Cheers!